Okay, so by now you should have posted your two answers to the questions for the warm-up on the last page in the discussion post. So now we're going to go over those answers. So there are two problems. There's this one and there's this one, so number one and number two. So we wanted to know what is different about the two problems. Number one is an equation with an equal sign. Okay, remember equations have equal signs. Number two is called an inequality because it is not equal. It has a less than symbol. That's an inequality. Okay, so we have the equal sign, which is an equation, and the less than sign, which makes that an inequality. That's the main difference between them. And how would you read problem number two? The way you would read problem number two is x plus 4 is less than 12. So you read from left to right, just like you would a book or anything else. X plus 4 is less than 12. Okay, those are the two answers you should have had for your discussion post. If you did not, that's fine. The warm-up is just to see where we're at and what we remember about inequalities and equations. Okay, next, if you have your math packet, these notes are on page 16. It's the green math packet. Okay, if you do not have your packet, you can just write these down in a notebook or on a piece of paper. So we can represent inequalities using symbols as well. Okay, we have greater than, this is the greater than symbol, less than, we have less than or equal to. I think this is what's new. Okay, this line underneath means equal to. It's like half of an equal sign. So we have less than or equal to, which means that this symbol is greater than or equal to. It has a greater than sign and then half of an equal sign. This symbol is an equal sign with a line through it. So if you think about when you go to stores and you see a cigarette with a line through it or a phone with a line through it or a drink with a line through it, it means you can't do that. So this equal sign with a line through it means not equal to. So if you see this, it means not equal to. But the main ones that we're going to focus on today are going to be these four, numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay? So if you're writing these down, you can pause the video now. Make sure you have these down, but I am going to move on. So when we're reading inequalities and stating solutions, we want to identify what numbers x could be in each inequality. So first, how we would read this is x, starting from the left, is greater than 7 because it's opening up to the bigger number. We've gone over this earlier this year, right? It opens up to the bigger number. It wants to eat the bigger number. So x is greater than 7. And we want to identify what numbers x could be. So stating those solutions, if x is greater than 7, what numbers could x be? X could be 8. X could be 10. These are all numbers greater than 7. Any number greater. X could be 12. X could even be 1,000, right? Any number greater than 7. The way we would read this one, the next one, x is less than 9 because the smaller side is at the x. The bigger side is opening to the 9, so that means x is less than 9. And if x is less than 9, we want to know what numbers could x be if x is less than 9. That means x could be 8, it can be 7, it can be 4, it can be 0, anything less than 9. Even we can say negative 100 because negatives are less than positive numbers. Okay, remember with these, it cannot be 7. X can't be 7 over here because it has to be bigger than 7. X cannot be 9 because it has to be less than 9, right? 9 is not less than 9, it's equal. That's where it kind of changes down here. The way we would read this is x is greater than or equal to 14. Okay, because it's opening up, the bigger side is opening up toward the x, and it has that equal sign, the equal sign underneath it. So x is greater than or equal to 14. Okay, if x is greater than or equal to 14, what numbers can x be? The first number x can be is x can be 14. because it can be greater than 14 or equal to 14. So it can be 14 and anything greater than that. So it can be 15, it can be 20, it can be 40, it can be 100. Any number greater than 14 or equal to 14. Over here, x is less than or equal to 34 because of that line underneath. Okay, so if x is less than or equal to 34, that means x can be 34. It can be anything less, so it can be equal or anything less. So it can be 30, it can be 15, it can be 1, or it can even be in the negatives, like -4. Anything less than or equal to 34, x can be. So anything less than or equal to. Okay. Okay, so now what you're going to do, we just went over notes on how to read inequalities and how to state solutions, so what numbers x can be. Now what you're going to do, after this video ends, you're going to click next. Then it'll take you to a page. You're going to click on the link posted for Go Formative. Okay? You must enter your first and last name. I need to know who you are when I see those scores. There's going to be 10 questions for you to answer. It'll give you the answers at the end, so you can see what you got right, what you got wrong, how you did. The point of this is to practice so you know what you need to work on before you take that quiz at the end of this, which is graded. Once you complete the 10 questions, you can move on to the next section of the module. Okay, again, this Go Formative is not a grade for marking period 3. This is for you to practice. Okay, I will be looking at your scores to see if I need to talk to anybody, if anyone might need some help. That's why your first and last name are important. But this is not graded for the grade book, okay? But you do need to complete it, and then you can move on to the next section of the module.